Hi, last week I made falafel 3 ways, so today I'm going to make dressings for falafels 3 different ways. So these are not only just for falafels, this is great for wraps, salads, even as a sandwich spread. So I love making sauces, Buddha bowls, roasted vegetables drizzled with a dressing. These are all going to be great. So I'm going to show you 3 different ways to make it with 3 different flavors. It doesn't mean it's exactly the same thing 3 different ways. It's 3 different dressings. All would be great on falafels, but they're going to be great on other things as well. So the first one I'm going to make is probably the easiest. And this is not a tzatziki sauce, but it is just a really great creamy sauce that is great, like I said, on roasted vegetables, falafels, falafel salad, stuffed falafels, whatever. But I'm going to start with, you can see how I measure, about 1/3 of a cup of water. And then I'm going to add, you could use either lemons or apple cider vinegar, whichever you prefer. Now, lemons are wonderful, very high in vitamin C, wonderful for liver health, have limonene in them. Apple cider vinegar also has wonderful benefits. So if you want a lemony flavor, add lemon. Otherwise, add some apple cider vinegar. So I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. You do not have to be precise. So about 2 tablespoons there. And then when I'm looking at salad dressings, I like garlic. Garlic is very antimicrobial, antifungal, antiviral. There's so many benefits to garlic, plus I like the flavor. Now, when you're making a salad dressing, if you use a raw garlic, it's going to be very potent. So make sure that whoever else is going to be eating this likes raw garlic. It's going to have that sharp taste. So a lot of times when I make salad dressings, instead of the raw garlic, I'll use garlic powder. I also like the mouthfeel from garlic powder for salad dressings. So I'm going to add a teaspoon of garlic powder to this one. And then because it's for falafel, whenever I think of falafel, I think of dill. I'm going to also add a teaspoon of dill. All right, and then I'm going to be adding some tahini. So tahini is it's made out of sesame seeds. You want to see if you can find some that is raw, not roasted, and you want to look for organic. You may need to stir it. Mine just came out of the refrigerator. It's nice and stirred. I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of tahini. Tahini is nice and creamy. It is wonderful to go with falafel. So I have these cute little lids. I got these on Amazon, but I'm just going to cap it. You know what? One more thing, I'm going to add salt. I do like salt. Not everyone does. You can leave the salt out if you want to. You may want to add some onion powder or something if you do want some salt. You could always chop some green onions and add that to it. Sometimes that can help too. Okay, so now I'm going to put my lid on. I need to label my jar because I'm making 3 sauces today. So I always just keep some masking tape or painter's tape and a Sharpie in the drawer in my kitchen. So I'm just going to write tahini so that I know this is my tahini dressing. You could write tahini dill, whatever. And so right now, that is not a very pretty salad dressing. So I'm going to give it a nice shake. Alright, it's getting nice and thick. In a minute, it's going to react to the acids and get even thicker. So we're going to set it aside while we make some other dressings. So our next dressing, I'm going to be using cucumber. When I think of a tzatziki sauce, I think of a nice creamy sauce that has cucumbers in it and has dill. So I have a cucumber here. I'm only going to be using half of the cucumber for this one. I'm going to cut the end off. And depending on what I'm doing, those seeds are going to make it very watery. So if I use the seeds, I'm not going to add any water. This one is a nice young cucumber, I can tell, because the seeds are nice and small and tight. So it's not going to be too watery. So I'm just going to leave it as it is. So another thing I'm going to be doing is adding cashews. Now you could use yogurt in place of your cashews. So you could make like a cashew yogurt or a coconut yogurt, something that's nice and plain. Coconuts can give it a coconut flavor, so I would prefer a milder yogurt. I make a hemp seed cashew yogurt quite often. That would be delicious without any sugar or sweetener. You want it to be plain. So I soaked, this is a ½ cup of cashews that have been soaking in water. I'm going to step away, drain it, and rinse it, and I'll be using those. So I'll be right back. Okay, when I'm using cashews to make a yogurt or a dressing or something like that, if I have a ½ cup of cashews, I want less than that of water. And so since I have a ½ cup of cashews, I'm going to use about a ¼ cup of water. I can always add some more water, but I don't want it to be too watery. And remember, the cucumbers are going to add some water as well. So I have some water here. So this is almost a cup, so I'm going to pour a little bit of water out, so that I only have about a ¼ cup of water. Then I'm going to add my rinsed and drained cashews. They're going to be nice and creamy. I'm going to give you another alternative for that in a minute. And I'm going to add my ½ cucumber. And now I'm going to add some lemon juice. Once again, you could use apple cider vinegar if you don't want the lemon juice. I forgot my juicer. I could have just squeezed them by hand, but I prefer the juicer. So I'm making all of these a little bit different, using apple cider vinegar in some, lemon in some, a couple of different spices in them, so that I don't feel like I'm eating exactly the same thing every day. That's why I have tahini in one, cashews in one, and my secret ingredient in the next one. So I have 2 lemons here. This one I am going to add garlic and onion powder to. And we could even add something like nutritional yeast to give it like a more cheesy flavor. I didn't even think about that, but I do happen to have some near me. Okay, so I'm going to add a teaspoon of garlic. I'm going to add a teaspoon of onion. And then I want a little bit of spice. So I'm going to add about a ¼ teaspoon of chipotle powder to make it a little bit smoky. And about a ½ teaspoon of, I wish I had my other measuring spoon, ½ teaspoon of cumin. I'm afraid it's going to spill out. And I like cumin, so I don't care if it spills in there. Okay, so we have our water, our lemon, our cashews, our cucumber, and I forgot the dill. So I definitely want probably 2 teaspoons of dill. And then I'll taste it. I may add some more. Blend it up. Okay, I did not add salt. Sometimes the lemon will take the place of that. I won't need to add salt when I add lemon. So let me give it a quick taste and see if I need salt or another herb. I'm going to add salt. All right, a teaspoon of salt. I could add some more cumin or smoked chipotle. That would also kind of take that flavor rate, give it more of an umami flavor, so I don't need the salt. Okay, so this one I'm going to call, oh, I already forgot, right here. I'm going to call this one cashew, smoky cashew. Alright, and then I'm going to have one more dressing to make for this one here. It smells so good. It has that nice smoky aroma. Alright, so let me set this one aside, and then we have one more dressing. The next one is if you don't like nuts, you don't want to eat nuts, or maybe you're cutting back on fat. So we're going to make pretty much the same thing, just with a replacement for that. So I'm still going to use the cucumber. Cut the end off. And I'm still going to use about 1/4 cup of water. Only about 1/4 cup, because I'm not only using the cucumber. In place of the cashews, I am using 1/2 of a zucchini. So zucchini is going to give it a nice creamy texture without adding any fat. Plus, zucchini is very high in vitamins and minerals. We don't think of zucchini and our squashes as having vitamins and minerals, but they do. I don't mind the green color. If you don't want your dressing to be green, then you can always peel the cucumber and the zucchini. Mine are organic, and when we buy organic foods, those plants have been able to send off their own defense mechanisms to protect themselves. And so we want those same defense mechanisms in our body to help protect our cells as well. And so whenever you can, buy organic and eat the skins, because so much is in those skins. Okay, so we need to flavor this. We have our cucumber, we have our water, and we have our zucchini. So not a lot of flavor there. Once again, you could use a couple of lemons, or you could use a couple of tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. I'm going to be adding the apple cider vinegar. I'm just going to finish that off. That was about 2 tablespoons. I'm going to be adding garlic and onion again because I love them. Garlic and onion. I have a teaspoon of each. I'm going to add our 2 teaspoons of dill. This time I'm going to add some oregano with it. So let's add some oregano. I forgot the oregano. Okay, I'm going to add a teaspoon of oregano. And I could add nutritional yeast if I wanted to have a cheesy flavor. I'm not sure if I want that or not. I do want some salt, so I'm going to add a teaspoon of salt. Once again, you can leave that out. If you eat olive oil, you could always add some olive oil. All right, here we go. Okay, on that second recipe, if you have a tendency to have high cholesterol and you're cutting back on saturated fat, maybe you have the genes that say you shouldn't eat a lot of saturated fats, then you can always use the zucchini in place. Or you could use your olive oil if you do use olive oil, or another cholesterol-friendly oil. So let me taste this one. That's my favorite. Ding, ding, ding. That one's delicious, but it's a little chunky. I'm going to blend it up a little bit more. All right. So I'm going to call this one Mediterranean, because that's the oregano. Mediterranean. Okay. Put my label on. If I can get it off of here, right? Pour it in my jar. Oh, it's beautiful. I love the green color. Once again, if you don't want the green, then just peel the cucumber and zucchini. It's going to take you a little bit longer. I prefer the quick and easy throw it in. Okay, so let's look at our tahini. Again, it's thickened up a little bit. I'm going to give it another good shake. All right, so we have our tahini. We have our cashew, our lemon cashew, smoky lemon cashew. And we have our Mediterranean salad dressing. So you can see that didn't take us, took less than 15 minutes start to finish to make 3 different salad dressings. I can put these in my fridge. They'll last 3 to 4 days. I can use them in salads, wraps, on my falafel salads, over a stuffed falafel or stuffed pepper. So many different things. Roasted vegetables. Anyway, they're all delicious. If you make them, please let me know. If you have any questions, please let me know. If there's something else you would like for me to make or show you or explain to you, I am more than happy to do it. Please comment. I love to hear from you. Hit subscribe and like and share with your friends. Now, did you know I have recipes? If you click in my bio, you'll see a link for some of my recipe books and even a hormone checklist guide. Anyway, I hope to hear from you. Enjoy!